The following podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. Like what you hear? Want more of it ad-free, uncensored, and earlier? Sign up today at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and start getting more for as little as $2 a month.
Welcome to We Have Till 5, part of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling, and wrestling is everything. I am, of course, your host, Andrew Kent. With me, as always, is Cole. Cole, say hey, would you, buddy?
Hey. Is that better?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. that was pretty all right. I'm feeling that. That's tremendous. How you doing, Cole? How's life in the big city?
Well, I'm not in the big city right now.
You're not in the big city. Where are you, sir?
I'm in a little town called Uxbridge. It's where I grew up.
Why?
I went home for a couple days, finished my placement, my summer church placement, so decided to get out for a couple of days and then head back in.
Cool. So what is your August all freed up or what?
Yeah, nothing really, just weekends are full.
Oh yeah, weekends are full? What do you got going on the weekends, buddy?
Well, I'm pretty sure we have the same weekend schedule pretty much.
Oh yeah, we do, buddy. Oh yeah, we're going to NXT SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah.
We're going to a wedding the following weekend. It's gonna be a pretty sweet. You gotta come to North Bay one of those weekends too, right, buddy? Come on.
I don't know if I have a weekend free.
What do you mean?
I'm
What's the
going camping this weekend?
Oh, fancy man!
And the final weekend, I've been booked to preach at a church.
Wow, you're gonna go for the big guns, preacher man.
Oh yeah, so getting that, yeah, getting my name out there.
That's so exciting, man. Well, congratulations. Make sure you rep WrestleMedia while you're at the church, would you?
Yeah, exactly. Shameless plug in the middle of a sermon.
Hi. My name's Cole. You might recognize me from such WrestleMedia podcasts as We Have Till 5 and the occasional Forging the Future episode. Don't hesitate to head right on over to patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. And yes, I'm going to use this as a true segue right into the actual plugs on the show. So bear with me here. If you like what you hear, thank you so much for showing up and listening to the podcast. We are WrestleMedia, and you can listen to all of the podcasts that we have over at WrestleMedia.ca. You can read our blogs. You can listen to our other podcasts. You can see where we're going to be on tour this summer. You can see host bios and read all sorts of stuff. And, of course, sign up for our newsletter so you can know the ins and outs just delivered straight to your email inbox. And then once you've been to WrestleMedia.ca, you've seen all there is to see, and you fall in love with the podcast, you fall in love with the host, you fall in love with the network, and you want to contribute to our dream. We're just a bunch of schmucks doing this for free. Cole and I are doing this at 11:30 p.m. the night before the show is supposed to drop. Adam, I apologize to the bottom of my heart for that, of course. But if you just want to support a couple schmucks who are trying to do this and you want to support the dream, head right on over to patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and throw a couple ducats in the bucket. Be part of one of the tier groups. You get exclusive podcasts. You get elongated, uncut, uncensored podcasts. You get all sorts of free stuff. You get mentions. You get shout-outs on the show. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Kevin is one of our very special patrons over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. So head on over, support the dream, be part of the wrestling revolution over there at WrestleMedia.ca. Awesome. That's out of the way. Cole, what are we talking about this week, man? You got a fun one for us this week.
Yeah, I was watching the highlights from, I can't remember if it was Raw or SmackDown, but I saw everybody's favorite wrestler, Mojo Rawley, come out.
Okay, we're doing a Mojo Rawley themed list?
No, there's a plot here. Have you seen Mojo Rawley in the past couple of weeks?
I avoid Mojo Rawley gosh, I don't even know. I was going to make a Mike Walsh joke, but it's too late at night. I had nothing clever to go. So I'm just going to bow out. No, I have not seen Mojo Rawley in a while.
Well, he's not on a tag team anymore, but he's come back with this interesting face paint.
Okay.
He has, like, blue lightning streaks all over his face. And I got thinking about how, well, his looks bad, but whose face paint looks good?
Oh my gosh, that was, I don't even know what's going on right now. His face paint was bad, but whose face paint looked good?
Yep.
So we're doing best face paint, or is that kind of where we're going?
Yeah, we're doing the most iconic painted wrestlers.
Oh gosh, I'm excited. I got a couple that come to mind. I don't want to do any ruining of the list. So let's just dive in. Let's just hop in right now and get us going on that list, Cole.
Yeah, let's do it. So number 5, this is a little bit of a weird one, because there's part of me that wanted to put number 5 at number 1, but there's some things that hold me back.
Okay, okay.
So this is the person who I think has the best actual paint of anybody, and that's Finn Balor.
Finny boy. Yeah, his paint. You know what? I'll tell you one thing that has always kind of bugged me a little bit about Finn Balor's face paint is I realize it's a quality thing. I get it, but what I've always appreciated about the painted wrestlers, like others, I'm sure we'll talk about on this list, so I'm not going to give any names. Their face paint would kind of like fade over time, and it looked like it was actually they were part of a war. Finn's they put on with this new finagled paint that really doesn't ever come off, and it
rubs off
barely.
At the end of a match, he has like nothing left on his face, and it looks like he's been through.
No, not half as much as it used to happen to others, man.
Yeah, no, because a lot of the people were just using like dollar store paint.
And his chest paint's usually still on, and honestly, in terms of just quality, in terms of design, you're totally right, man. Finn Balor's the top of the tops, man. I'm actually surprised he's so far down the list. So yeah, you kind of nailed it. So how did he? So kind of give us some of the rationale as to why he's on the list. Defend it a little bit. I don't think there's too much defending to do because obviously Finn Balor was going to be on this list, but kind of give us what you like about it, why it hits you, and then why it kind of dropped all the way from number 1 to number 5.
So I'm going to actually start off with why it's at number 5. It's because it's not a regular thing. Every other person on this list, the paint is an always thing. They don't exist outside of their paint. It's like the masked wrestlers. Okay, all right. So, I mean, that makes sense. So for Finn Balor, it only comes out on special occasions when it's a big match and he needs to bring out the demon persona in order to get a win. So it started in Japan, I think around 2014 from what I can gather. At least that's when he got his own personal artist to do it. And over in Japan, it was a lot more pop culture focused, a lot of comic book characters. If any of you listeners haven't seen any of his old paint, it's crazy. Have you seen it, Andrew?
Only a couple. Like, I'm not super well versed in it. If I wasn't afraid that all my audio was going to cut out in the moment I opened up a web page, I would Google it as we speak. But I'll do it after the show.
He's done. He did the Joker. He's done Carnage and Venom. Spider-Man in several different ways. He did a couple horror ones. He's just done a whole bunch. But when he came over to NXT, understandably, all that stuff had to stop.
Which is funny because you used to have Rey Mysterio, who would come out all the time in these superhero themed outfits and masks and stuff like that. But
you still have Johnny Gargano is always coming out in superhero theme.
That's what I was gonna say. That's where I was going. Yeah, like absolutely.
But with the paint, it wasn't just like themed. He had the Spider-Man logo painted on his chest. Like, it wasn't just themed. It was very much that
okay,
person.
I gotcha. He was Spider-Man. Okay, I'm following you.
Yeah. So then when he came over to NXT, he actually thought that he wouldn't be able to do it, and he was kind of okay with that. But then they asked him to bring it back. So he did, and I think another reason that it changed was because it became something in itself.
Yeah.
And there had to be this continuity between the paints. And when you're bringing out the Joker and other people, it doesn't work with the character of the Demon King. Yeah, and it's just kept going since. Now, I think it's faltered in recent years, unfortunately. I don't think...
In what way?
Since he's been brought up to the main roster, I don't think it's been used to its fullest potential.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that.
Because in NXT, it only came out at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And even not even every pay-per-view, it only came out when he actually had to do something he had to become more than he was in order to defeat somebody else. But then he came up to the main roster, and they were just bringing it out on random Raws.
Well, yeah, but now they've they've taken a different approach recently, and like now you almost never see it. So
yeah,
I agree with you. At first, it was a little overused. It was a shtick. It was kind of like that. But yeah, I mean they've definitely corrected that in recent months and years.
Now, if Finn is healthy enough, which hopefully he is, I'm sure we would have seen it at SummerSlam coming out.
Sure. But he didn't do Demon at WrestleMania, did he?
Who did he face at WrestleMania?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like
I can't remember. Did he do the Demon at WrestleMania?
I don't think so, but I think he was trying to show that he could do it on his own.
Yeah, no, and just to get right back to the face paint, I completely agree with you. It's designed great. It's actually been kind of fun watching the designs grow from the first few times he did it in NXT right into the times where he's doing it now, and it's getting more elaborate and it's getting more creative every time. Cole, I hate the stupid headdress he wears, though. I hate it. I hate it. It looks cheap.
Yeah, I think it does.
It looks cheap. I just can't believe that. I can't believe they haven't either gotten rid of it or just told him to get a different one, or because I don't think it really enhances really anything. I mean, personally, it doesn't do much for me, but
it just makes him look not human or creaturely in some way. But you're right, it looks like it's a bunch of leftover construction parts that they pulled out of the dumpster.
Yeah, like it looks like high school. It looks like a high school
string
drama.
And slinkies and cables and
yeah, it looks stupid. Sorry, Finn. If he doesn't bust open his arm and get injured first.
Oh no. I really hope he's not injured. Oh my goodness.
Friggin' Finn Balor. All right, anything else to add on the Demon?
Nope. That's it.
All right, buddy. Show me number 4.
Number 4 is Goldust.
Oh gosh, I've always loved Goldust makeup, especially in recent years. And the day that I saw that the WWE released the video of him putting his own makeup on, I was always sold on Goldust makeup, but watching him put it on himself and actually him being the creative one, this I would have had a hard time not making this my number one, depending on the rationale. Obviously, Goldust isn't the most iconic painted wrestler of all time, but for me, the effort that he's taken to do it himself would be difficult whether or not I was going prestige or not. But Goldust makeup is awesome, especially in recent years.
Yeah, it's been great, and like he's worn it ever since his debut in 1995. Like, he's not seen without the makeup, and that's what I think makes it special. It's like, that is who he is. It's every single match. It's every single pay-per-view, and it's always slightly different, too. It's not just the same design every single time, and it works really well. Always the same color scheme, but it changes slightly. And even seeing him bring it out with his debut in AEW was really cool.
I totally agree. I thought his makeup in AEW is pretty good. I mean, it's not Goldust. It's not Goldust, but
it's Dustin Rhodes.
It's something new, and it's something all right, and it's better than anything he's tried to do in any other freaking promotion in the world. Every time Dustin Rhodes goes somewhere else, he reinvents this dumb character trying to kind of recapture the Goldust flame. And it's just not able to do it. So I'm glad. I was happy when he went to AEW and just was more himself. Still makeup, still kind of quirky and Dustin Rhodes like, but not trying to be the AEW version of Goldust, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's iconic. It is iconic, even if it's not like who you immediately think of. When you say Goldust, you think of the paint.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you think of the gold bodysuit. Like, that's... Yeah. It is the character.
Totally.
I mean, like, you can't do it without Dustin, but at the same time, somebody else could wear the gold bodysuit and the paint, and it would be Goldust. Like, it's this weird... It needs to be Dustin, but it also kind of...
No, I completely agree. It's almost like, if there's any Batman fans out there, is there any comic book fans out there? It's almost like when, somebody else puts on the Batman suit, Dick Grayson being Batman. It's like, but, you're Batman. I get it, because you're wearing the suit, you're doing ninja stuff, and you got all the techie stuff, and you're Batman. But, like, you're not Bruce Wayne. Are you really Batman?
Yeah.
So,
was it Sin Cara who's been multiple people, or is it Kalisto?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe both, but definitely Sin Cara.
Yeah,
definitely Sin Cara.
I mean, it's a little different because it's not a mask, but yeah, the paint is a version of a mask, and it just works.
Absolutely.
So, do you have anything to add to Goldust? Because
no, I think I'm good with Goldust, buddy. That's a great call. He's a potential number one for me, depending on my rationale. So
everybody on this list is a potential number one.
Welcome to We Have Till 5, where every one of the 5 could be potentially number one. All right, what's number 3, buddy?
So number 3 is Jeff Hardy.
I was curious to see if you were going to put this guy in the list. He would not have made my list. He
really
wouldn't. No, and I'll touch on definitely one or two that it doesn't sound like it's going to be on your list at this point. On the honorable mentions after we get up past number 1, I like Jeff Hardy's paint, but if we're talking iconic, if we're talking that, there's some guys that are going to be missing from this list.
Yeah. I think it is iconic in a way, though. And he's a person who, like, it can't be worn by anybody else. It is Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
It's not a character, it's just him. and it is his outlet into that kind of persona that he creates. And have you seen the time-lapse of his doing his WWE released of Jeff Hardy doing his own makeup?
Oh, yeah. I've seen those.
I don't know, I think it was great too, because he designs all of them. He makes all of them. He's actually said in interviews that it's his way of being creative while in the wrestling business, because he doesn't have time to pick up a canvas and a paintbrush to paint something, so he just paints on his face. So I have respect for him in that way, where it's an actual artistic endeavor for him, not just a character thing, but he enjoys doing it.
I totally, just to be clear, Jeff Hardy on this list is not an abomination. It's not, and I totally get why you're a bit of an artist. You have respect for visual arts, and you're into tattoos, and you're into like the artsy side of things, slam poetry and stuff like that. All that boring crap. No, all jokes aside, you're more of an artsy guy, so I'm not surprised to see Jeff Hardy on this list. But when it comes to, for me personally, when it comes to iconic face paint, this isn't. This does not crack my top 5. It's very cool. It's very well done. And it's kind of, it's creepy the way that he does the eyes, and it's definitely got a style. It's definitely got a feel. I completely agree with you. Personally, it's not on my list. What stylistically about the paint kind of does it for you?
It's unique. It's unlike anything I've seen. And when I started thinking about painted wrestlers, one of the main faces that came to mind was his. I just couldn't... It's memorable, unlike some others, and this might just be me being affected by my knowledge of wrestling. So, he's one that I've seen a bunch.
Yeah, of course.
So I think of it more, but it's just the colors, the designs, the creativity of it, the weird eye thing, as you said. I just couldn't not have this on the list.
No, hey man, like I said, I'm not here to give you the old Adam Conton gears that I used to get all the time, and we have till 5. I'm not here to bust your. But yeah, it just, for me, I'm not surprised he's on your list, but it's not quite. It's kind of shticky, and I guess I'm not artsy enough to kind of get it. Not really artsy enough to kind of get what he's trying to do, and he's got eyes over his eyes, so that even when his eyes are closed, he can see you. It doesn't resonate with me in any way, shape, or form.
That's all right.
But it's definitely cool, and it belongs on the Cole Miller list.
Yeah.
What else belongs on the Cole Miller list? Get us to number 2, buddy.
Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today.
So number 2 is possibly the most iconic singular image of wrestling face paint. And It's the Ultimate Warrior.
Ooh, the Ultimate Warrior! Oh yeah, you got if Warrior's not on the list, you're fired from the podcast.
Oh, absolutely! He has to be on the list.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, we could almost do 2 and 1 back to back. I'm hoping because it's got to happen. But we'll stick with the Warrior for now. Absolutely, totally, completely agree with you. Ultimate Warrior's got to make this list. Bad wrestler from all reports, not a great human being, unless, of course, you follow the WWE lore with the Warrior Award and garbage like that. But, man, was this guy over. Man, did this guy have a look. This guy was the reason my family liked pro wrestling growing up. You know, he was my mom's favorite wrestler. It was my brother's favorite wrestler. He's the real deal, man. The Ultimate Warrior. And absolutely, when you think painted up wrestlers, this guy's a lock for number 2.
Yeah. And it's not just, it's the fact that it was the same thing every time.
Yeah.
That created an iconic image.
Absolutely.
Now, part of that, I'm sure, was just merchandising and marketing by WWE. Like, you can sell T-shirts and you can sell masks with that image. Like, it's his symbol, it's everything. But it transcends just him. And with the Ultimate Warrior Award, like, they've used that image to transcend him and go beyond everything. And that paint has survived.
Absolutely. The Ultimate Warrior stands the test of time, 100%. It was his calling card. It was his logo. It was his identity. It was absolutely it was who he was, and you know that, and the running, and the weird breathing, and the shaking the ropes, and the high energy, and the big splash, and oh yeah, no, the Warrior was always going to be a crowd favorite just based on the look.
Now, I couldn't find much information on when he started doing face paint. Do you know anything about this? Did he debut with it?
I'm fairly certain that when the Ultimate Warrior debuted, he was the Ultimate Warrior. He was what he was. Now, that's just for WWF, obviously. He was part of a tag team with, actually, who's going to probably end up being
somebody
our
else.
number 1 here.
I know they had face paint.
They did a little bit of face paint. Yeah,
they
were obviously always face paint people.
Yeah, but that tag team, they had a little bit. It was more makeup than face paint. But I couldn't find any information about like when he started using the iconic Ultimate Warrior face paint. So.
I'm fairly certain it was just when he came in, he was the Ultimate Warrior. That's how he looked. It was not uncommon for there to be a lot of face paint in wrestling in you know the late 80s, the mid to late 80s. So it was pretty typical. It wasn't too strange for that to happen. All right, Cole. Let's do number 1, man. It's got to be who I'm thinking, and if it's not, you're a total and complete idiot. Hit us with the Stinger Splash, buddy.
Number 1, as you guessed, as I'm sure many people have guessed, it's Sting. It's the most iconic face paint, the most memorable face painted wrestler of all time.
I'm even trying to be the devil's advocate and kind of throw somebody else out there that even rivals this. I'm trying to I got nothing. I don't even have anything that even rivals it. If anybody listening at home, you know, hit us up on Twitter if there's something missing from this list, which I don't think there is, that can challenge Sting for the number 1 spot on this list. Please hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, text me. I don't know, find my number, ask Cole for my number. And
they have to get my number first.
Give me a call. Yeah, they could just find you on Facebook.
No, they can find you too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I bet I'm not going to give them my phone number. Only you will.
Oh, I guess so. I'll just hand it out.
Exactly. No, there's nothing. There's nothing for me that. You know what? No. I'm gonna do my honorable mention kind of before we finish up talking to Sting, because there's some glaring stuff, and I just thought of one, man. you know who's not on your list, and this is where Adam Conta's been screaming at us all episode, I'm sure. So I'm gonna appease the Adam Conta here for a little bit and give him a couple, okay? Papa Shango. I'm gonna start small. He's not the one who challenges for the throne. Papa Shango, pretty iconic back in the day. The ones that came to mind for me was Demolition. Yep. Demolition, somebody who didn't make the list, famous for their face paint, one of the most popular tag teams of all time. Doink the Clown, for me, you want to talk about Goldust, how it created a character. There was literally multiple people through history who played Doink the Clown. Doink was this iconic character. He kind of defined a generation in WWF. Doink the Clown needs to be on this list. But Cole, the ones that aren't on your list, that everybody's screaming at you for, the ones who could challenge for the throne, the freaking Road Warriors, buddy. Hawk, an Animal. Ooh, what a rush. Come on, man.
I came across them a lot, but I just thought in terms of lasting impact of career.
Okay, hold on.
No, but it's everything wrapped up in one.
No, I totally agree. Sting is number one. I was playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But the Road Warriors, they're number two. I take back what I said. Ultimate Warrior, absolutely iconic, 100%. But when you're talking about, you know how a few weeks ago we talked about what X-Pac heat meant?
Yep.
So in the same vein, it's called a Road Warrior pop. When the place goes absolutely nutso bonkers, that's what you call a Road Warrior pop. Because they were so popular, it was so iconic, and so much of that was their face paint, so much of that was their body gear. Pardon me. So they're definitely a glaring blotch on this list, man. I'm going to give you a little bit of Adam Conta crap. You got it. If you're going iconic, you're missing something, homie.
Maybe I am. I don't think so.
Defend it, man. Defend it. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about Sting. Let's talk about the most iconic face paint in wrestling history. Absolutely, it's Sting. And not only he has two characters that are iconic with face paint. He's Surfer Sting and he's Crow Sting. And sure, okay, one could argue that he basically stole the Crow makeup. So was it really that original? I don't care. It's freaking Sting. Number one. Hit me with a baseball bat if you gotta.
So, as we talked about a little bit earlier, his face paint journey started when he was working in the Indies with another popular face painted wrestler in a little not so well known tag team called the Blade Runners with one Jim Hellwig.
Jimmy Hellwig, bud.
Yeah, which people kind of believe is a response to Demolition, another popular painted tag team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Jim Hellwig got called off, so Sting was left all alone, and when he arrived in the NWA in 1987, the Surfer Sting was born with the colorful face paint that kind of reminiscent of the Warrior, actually.
Sure is, yep, sure is.
They kind of followed that same path. He was a baby face, and the colors worked, and people got behind that. But then
except Sting was actually a good worker.
Yeah, apparently it was a good thing that they split up their tag team.
Sting could work and Warrior could not.
It might also just be maybe he was forced to work more with the environments where he did his work.
Well, you may be right, but I mean it translated in the end to the same spot, so I don't see much of a difference in that. But No, man. So Surfer Sting, just tremendous makeup. I love the character of that Sting character, and then it switches. It all switches in be 97, right? Was it 97?
96.
Yeah, that makes sense.
96 is when he first started to appear.
Yeah.
He wasn't quite wrestling through 96, but he was in the rafters, he was in the background. And that was the start of it, and it carried him through several iterations of that character.
Yeah.
Changed slightly was when he was in the NWO.
Yep.
That was a red and black face paint.
I hate red and black. I hate the Wolfpack Sting makeup. I hate the red Sting.
Is that the worst one?
Yeah, I think that's the worst one for me. And then of course I loved his makeup in TNA. I liked that he sort of added the red streaks and he got a little bit more different with it. I actually even really liked the Joker Sting. The what do they call it? I'm sure you got some notes on that.
I think it was just called I don't know what they had. Everybody just called it the Joker Sting.
Yeah, I can't remember. He had some other name. Adam Conta's again screaming at us right now as he's editing this. Sorry, Adam. We're friggin' marks and we're noobs. Like, what do you want? But no, iconic. There's a reason why it's stuck for so much longer than Surfer Sting, right? Like,
yeah.
he was Surfer Sting for a decade, and he will be Crow Sting for the rest of forever. But even just in terms of wrestling, he was Crow Sting from 96 to 20. When did he officially retire after Seth Rollins broke his back in half? I don't know, 2014?
Sometime around then.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, he carried it through, and that similar in iconicness to the Warrior, where his paint has sold masks, it sold shirts, like the pattern is all you need to know that it's Sting.
And you know what? I have a pretty embarrassing. I keep trying to find on the network. I can't find whatever episode that this was, because I have another embarrassing confession to make here. I'll make two here on this. The first wrestling pay-per-view I ever saw was WCW. I know, it's horrifying. I get it. My uncle was a bigger WCW fan than a WWF fan. But second embarrassing confession of the day was there was a thing that Sting used to do. The lights used to go out, and he would rappel down, and he would beat you up, and then he'd go back to the ceiling. Well, but what he was doing at this time, you didn't actually even see him. The lights go down, and then when the lights come back up, the guys were laid out in the middle of the ring with Sting masks on their face. I had nightmares for like weeks about Sting and about the creepy face, and it was terrifying way back when. Man, yeah, it was. I did not like Sting for many years, but I came around. Because Sting's pretty. What do you think makes it so iconic? It is. I mean, the criticism is always he ripped off the mask. Why is it so iconic? Why did it reach wrestling freaking stardom?
I think it's simple is part of it. Like, Jeff Hardy's is complicated, so it can't really be carried through to that iconic, like, purely from an artistic standpoint. It can't survive as much of an iconic image. Same with some other people who are painted, like the Great Muta and the Boogeyman. Like, they had these face paints that were complex, that drew you in, but you couldn't capture that in a single image. And even though Sting's paint had slight variations, it was always pretty much the same thing. So it allowed it to carry through, and you saw it and you recognized that it was him, and you knew it from a distance, even if it had changed slightly.
Yeah.
And also,
you're right.
his career carried it through too.
Yeah, I mean, he was already a well-respected wrestler, but it took him to a different height of popularity for sure when he donned the black and white, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh, go ahead.
Survives.
Go ahead.
No, it survives. I think that's it.
It endures for sure, 100%. Do you have anything else to add on Sting before we kind of talk about next week and beyond?
No, that is it.
All right. Well, that's our list for this week. Next week, we're going to be getting into what we had promised you last week, but then life happens, bud. We can't control our lives sometimes. But we, so we're going to come back, and I really want to do this list. The 5 current main roster talent that could really benefit from a quote unquote demotion to NXT. I'm still inspired by Apollo Crews and Tyler Breeze moving down and kind of doing a little bit of work down there. And I want to talk about 5 guys that I really, really, really believe could benefit. And this is something that I think Cole and I could have a really good, long discussion on. And
it'll be hard to narrow it down.
And also, I'd like Cole to make a list as well. I kind of want to go, kind of double it up. It might be a double-sized episode. I kind of want to spend a lot of time on this. Cole and I are both passionate about NXT. We could even call on Jeff DeHaan. Why not? Let's get Jeff DeHaan in on this too, maybe. So we'll reach out to Jeff, see if we can't make it work. And next week, that's what we're going to talk about here on We Have Till 5. Cole, do you have anything else to add? Do you have anything else to say? Do you have anything else?
Just spoiler alert. My list is everybody. Everybody can benefit from a demotion to NXT.
Shut up, you smark. Boo. Shut up. Go watch AEW and go.
I will. They haven't released anything new yet, though.
Go rub the Observer on your genitals, you friggin' smart.
Wow.
Boo, boo, boo. Go watch a bunch of super kicks.
Fine, I will. I think there's a new episode of Being the Elite out that I'm going to go watch after this.
Oh, frig. Oh, we're going to have to start an AEW show with Cole that nobody will... I'm kidding. You guys know my opinion on AEW. I'm excited. Anyways, if that just about does it for you, Cole, if you don't want to talk about the moon and you don't want to talk about a bunch of crap that nobody cares about, we're going to, on behalf of myself, Andrew, and you, Cole Miller, when it comes to the best painted, the most iconic... Well, I mean, in your opinion, because you missed a whole bunch there, bud. But when it comes to the most iconic or the best painted wrestlers in the history of the business, we're breaking the hold.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.